best way to introduce Hannah is to hear Hannah. And this is Hannah on the mix.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that are dreamed of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I see trees of green and I see red roses too. I'll watch them bloom for me and you, and I'll think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white, brightness of day and the dark, blessed night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I? Oh.
Eric and Kathy's 36-hour radiothon.
Colby Calais, better watch out.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
How is that for hope? That's Hannah. Now, just a real quick recap on how Hannah ended up here at Children's. A year ago, last month, she had an ATV accident at home, ended up in a hospital in Indiana, and then while you're at that hospital, they find something that you need to get here right away. You are airlifted to Children's during the weekend of the Air and Water Show, which cost your parents a 4-hour drive from Indiana, which is usually like an hour and a half. So they're, obviously on pins and needles wondering what's going on. You're here at Children's. And what brought you to Children's? What did they find in Indiana?
Well, when I was brought into the first hospital with my injuries from my ATV accident, all of my readings on all of my monitors, my heart was going so fast and at such a speed where if I had been like 45 years old, I would have been having a heart attack. And so
how old are you?
I was 15 at that time. And they thought it was because of the trauma of the accident. So they're like, we'll wait it out. We'll keep her here overnight. And if it doesn't go down, then we're going to have to look farther into it. And like for days, my heart rate stayed up. And it was like at 140, 150 constantly. And when a normal rate is around 60 to 100 beats a minute. And so they did what's called an EP study on me, which is where they feed in wires through my veins up to my heart to play with the electrical side of it to see if that what was causing the problem, if they could shock it into a normal rhythm. And that didn't work. So then we got the call saying there's a bed available at Children's, but you got to pick right now if you want to come. And when we got that news, it seemed like everything stopped, because being in the hospital for the injuries I had was bad enough. I couldn't move or anything, but then at least my friends could visit me. You know, I was getting visitors still. But being moved to Chicago meant I wouldn't see anybody for the remainder of my stay. And at that point, we had no idea how long I'd be in the hospital. And so my friend Taylor, when she was younger, she had what's the right word? Pediatric cancer of lymphoma. And so she was at this hospital when she was young, and she was actually at the hospital with me at that time when we got the call. So her mom was talking to my mom, and she said, if you can get in at Children's, go to Children's. There is no better place to go than Children's.
So they flew you up here?
They flew me up here in a helicopter, and it took 12 minutes.
Wow.
And I was actually here in my room, and I called my parents, and they were still at home. They hadn't left yet. And, like, I called, and I'm like, hey, it's me. And they're like, me who? Hannah who?
Got here
you can't
fast.
be calling me. And yeah, I got there really fast, and I talked to them before they even left. And I think me being able to talk to them and like communicate with them where I was and that I was okay made the 4-hour drive up here to see me even better, because of the air show traffic. It was like impossible to get up here.
Isn't it crazy that if it wasn't for that ATV accident, you may not have realized you had an issue?
Yeah, and with what they're saying I have, had I not been diagnosed with CPVT, I had a 60% chance of going into cardiac arrest before I was 20.
Now, Nora, think back to a year ago. What was your first emotion when you heard? I mean, obviously, it's terrible that you had the ATV accident, but when you hear about this hidden thing that Children's finds, your first emotion?
I didn't believe it. My daughter was in the first hospital for, she had 5 breaks in her pelvis, and I was feeling sick about that she was going to be, wheelchair bound for like a 3-month recovery and missing school. And then on top of that, they say, we found this heart problem that really has nothing to do with the ATV accident, and that it is a blessing in disguise. She had the accident, that this genetic problem was found. So it was just bittersweet. It's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their kid to have a genetic problem, but we're grateful that it was found.
Now it's genetic. Your brother Mike is here. Does that mean he had to get tested too?
Yeah, so they recommended our whole family be looked at, and through different tests, they determined that Michael was most likely. We have 3 children, and one daughter's heart test seemed to be fine, and Michael's was questionable, and Children's was great, and they even somehow got us to be able to get Michael's genetic testing, which is very, very expensive. They were able to finagle it, so we got to get Michael tested for free.
Wow.
And so we're grateful for that, and Michael does have the genetic condition also. So I have 2 children that I found out, that have a heart problem, but they are constantly being seen here, and I feel they're at the right place. And
Absolutely.
We're pleased with the results we're getting, and it's going to be an ongoing process, but I mean, we're grateful that we know about it.
And the prognosis for everybody?
Well, everybody's doing good right now,
Right.
and we just keep getting checked and keep switching their meds up a little bit, and they're constantly, working on our case, and constantly bringing in new doctors and new thoughts and ideas, and it's an ongoing battle, but we know we're at the right place.
Do you still let the kids ride ATVs?
I was just going to ask. You're still getting them on the ATVs?
That's kind of the sore subject at our house. No, they haven't been riding the ATV for pleasure, but we have let Michael ride the ATV for work around. We have a large piece of property, so we couldn't give it up because we do use it on our property for work. So if he's going slow, he rides it.
And they always have the argument, but it saved my life. I mean, the accident really did save their lives.
So, Hannah, can you read that number real quick?
To donate to Eric and Kathy's 36-hour radiothon for children's Children's Memorial Hospital, call 1-888-831-7733.
Or you can also get
Or
online.
you can go to WTMX.com and donate there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in. And you have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, you guys. All right. Make the pledge for Hannah, become a children's hero. You can do it right now, $20 a month. It's all it's going to take, 67 cents a day. WTMX.com. Make the pledge. It's Eric and Kathy's 36-hour radiothon for Children's Memorial Hospital on the Mix.